Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1. This is part 3. This will actually be the meat and potatoes of how to defend a fixed location. I've taken a lot of things that I've learned in the military and tried to apply it to civilians and to protecting fixed retreats, fixed locations, your neighborhood, your community. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel, but just to modify the basic defensive planning you do when you go overseas or occupy any structure. All right. Defensive planning considerations. We need to establish security. This would be if you're in a subdivision, a community, a retreat, you're anywhere you are, your home. First thing we're going to do is establish security. We're going to have security there. Having security in your retreat or in your subdivision will provide reassurance of other people that can't provide security on their own. Elderly people, handicapped people, women and children will see that after a disaster, man-made or natural, that there is security. You're going to first set out some LPOPs. An LPOP is a listening post, observation post. During the day, it is an observation post because we can see. During the night, it's a listening post. Now, if you have put back night vision, you'll use it for both at night because you'll be able to use night vision and to observe what is around you at night. An LPOP will be constructed not on your perimeter of your property. It's going to be constructed away from your perimeter. In some cases, it might be 100 yards. If you can make it further the better, because this will give you early warning. All it is a lookout. You're seeing what's coming, and then you can plan for what you're going to need to do. So it's very important to put these out. Make sure that you put them in the right place so you can observe everything you're seeing. You're going to design the LPOP to be also able to protect the people that are in the position. It's not a fighting position, but you're going to offer them some protection. All right, so we have our LPOPs. You're going to need to be able to communicate. You can have an LPOP at 300 or 400 yards out, and you can see the threat, but you have no way to communicate with your retreat or your subdivision that the threat is coming. It's worthless. So you're going to have to go with field phones, any type of walkie-talkie radios, and if you don't have that, a runner. If you have a 12-year-old kid that's fast as lightning, use them as runners. He can pass messages back and forth very quickly. It's a proven way of doing communication. Next is patrols. You're going to want to patrol the inside of your subdivision. All this is doing is reassuring people. It could be a couple guys walking around providing security. You don't want to make people panic, so make sure they're walking around in a way with their weapons down, and they reassure people instead of causing people to panic. Next, you're going to want to patrol outside of your perimeter, your subdivision. If you have area that's not being occupied by anyone but woods, you want to be able to get into there and patrol it in the sense of finding out if anybody's out there watching you. If people are watching you and you're sending patrols out, people see that, they're not going to be really wanting to spend a lot of time observing you because they're going to be afraid of running into a patrol. You have to patrol. Next, position key weapons and make key positions. Key weapons in the military would be automatic weapons in the sense of a medium or heavy machine gun. We don't have those. So you want to put key weapons. If you only have a few high capacity magazine weapons, put those in the key locations. Also pick positions where you can protect your retreat or your subdivision. You need to coordinate with neighbors on each side of you. If you have a subdivision or a street, talk to the street next to you and say, this is what we're doing, what are you doing? You can work it out so you can maximize all your assets better. And then in the neighboring streets or the subdivision will know what's going on. You need to ensure mutual support between your positions. Let's say we have a perimeter and we're going to make a fixed perimeter where this area is ours. What you want to do is when you walk your perimeter, make sure every position can support another one. You don't want to have one position out there where they get attacked and no one else in their positions can actually fire on the bad guy. This is very bad because if you have 2 guys out there and 10 guys attack them, yes, the 10 guys are going to overrun your 2 guys. But if you have a position on the left and right that can also fire at those 10 bad guys, now we have 6 against 10, and we also have the advantage of we're in the defense. You need to cover your vehicle approaches. If you have a place where vehicles can drive rapidly into your retreat or your subdivision, you need to cover them. You need to make sure that they can't do that. And in the military, we use anti-tank weapons. We don't have anti-tank weapons, so maybe you can use more obstacles, and you can drop trees, and you can stop people from rapidly getting into your subdivision. Next, you want to prepare actually fighting positions. You're going to dig these positions in, or if you're in the city and you can't dig in, just use whatever you can, concrete blocks, anything you can make positions which will protect the people from gunfire. You need to check the sectors of fire. You're actually going to assign them a sector. They're going to know, all right, your sector is from that stop sign all the way over to the back of that fence post. Everything in there is yours. Then you're going to go to the next position, and you're going to assign them. By assigning them this exact way of looking at their sector, you can physically make sure you've covered all 360. If you don't, somebody in the one position won't be looking far enough to the right, and maybe the guy next to him is not looking far enough to the left. So you have this huge gap. By assigning sectors that have definite boundaries and objects that you know you got 360 security. Next, you want to position in depth and mutual support between positions. Positioning in depth is like this. Let's say we had a football team and we're on defense. If we put every single defensive player on the front line, and they run up right up the middle and break through our line, there's no one behind, and there's no linebackers, there's no safety to stop them from scoring. And that's what you want. You want to make it so if someone attacks your position or tries to harm your position, that even if they take one position, there's two positions behind them, so they're not really actually inside your perimeter. You want it in depth. And then definitely you want mutual support between positions. The positions on your left and right can also shoot to protect you. You want to select and prepare alternate positions. You want to have extra positions because let's say the south side of your area is attacked, and you bring other people over there to protect your south side of your subdivision. If you don't have positions already made, what are these people going to do? Yes, they can lay down in the prone position, but if you have extra positions made, they can occupy that position, they can protect themselves, and you definitely increase your defensive because this is a combat multiplier. A foxhole, a defensive position is a combat multiplier. It makes you stronger. Next is communication and emergency signals. You need to be able to communicate in your subdivision, in your retreat. You need to work this out. If you don't have any way to communicate, it is back to the runners. Very efficient. They can run messages back and forth. Next is emergency signals. You might have somebody might have a big bell in their backyard. Somebody might have a foghorn. Use whatever you have to make signals for your retreat, for your subdivision. People know what these mean. If you blast it 3 times, that could mean a fire in your subdivision. It could mean whatever. Just use your imagination and come up with it. Next, you need to designate ammunition, prisoner, and casualty points in your subdivision. Yes, you might think, why do I want a prisoner point? The reason is, hypothetically, your subdivision is being harassed by some looters after a major hurricane tornado, and you catch a few of them looting the house next door to you. What you want to do is you want to have a designated spot to bring these people in your subdivision. You don't want to walk them right through your subdivision and show them everything, because if this is a long-term problem, or their law and order is not going to be up for another month or a week or whatever, or maybe not at all, you don't want to show these people, hey, we have this garden, we have this fuel, we have all these supplies, because then it limits you what you can do with them. If you release them and just holler at them, now they know, hey, this is a prime target, they got all these supplies, they're going to go get some friends and come back and take what you want. So you do not want to walk them through your subdivision or show them anything that could give them intelligence about you. So have a place that's designed to take them. Next is ammunition. If you're trying to defend or fix a retreat, certain people on certain areas of your perimeter might use more ammo up. So there has to be a way to, everybody knows where that ammo is. It's the ammunition supply point. Next is a casualty point. If you have any casualty in your subdivision, in your retreat, the casualty will be taken to one location. What this will do is, if you have some nurses in your subdivision or anybody with medical abilities, they will be able to get quick medical assistance. If you don't tell people where to take the injured, they're going to be running all around trying to find out where the nurse is. If the nurse is in a central location, you bring the casualty to the nurse. Immediately, first aid can be started. This is important in any disaster because if there's not 911, there's no ambulance. So you need to have this worked out. Next is you need to have a reserve force. Reserve force is very, very important. You can't commit everyone you have on your perimeter. You have to be able to have a reserve amount. So let's say your south side of your perimeter is hit by looters. You have to be able to take additional people and move them over to the threat. If you don't have them, there's no way you can reinforce that side. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to put everybody I have on the perimeter. This is a key flaw. You have to have an element of people, maybe at 10% of your total force, 20%. Every military action that's taken, be it on a small level to a large level, reserve personnel are there to plug the hole, or if it's an offensive movement, to help the offensive movement if you need a little bit of extra manpower. I hope this helps. I've thrown a lot at you. I have a lot of people ask me all the time about security. This is just something to start thinking about. Some of you won't be interested in it. You're interested in homesteading and alternate energy, and that's fine. But to the people that say, hey, I might have to be in charge of security one day and I have no idea what I'm doing, this I hope will help you a little bit. Remember, your security is your responsibility. It's no one else's. Thanks for watching.